And now, for a segment we like to call Dispatches from the Fringe, we've got something special for you. We received this audio log from a listener who claims to have had a rather unusual experience hosting some intergalactic guests. It seems that our previous discussions of black holes, space bees, and the mysterious number 42 have emboldened some of our listeners to share their own tales of cosmic chaos. Take a listen and see what you think.
Hey, Intergalactic Insider. This is Bob from Terra Nova. Long-time listener, first-time caller. So, I heard you guys talking about weird roommate situations, and, well, after hearing about that guy with the black hole in the space bees, I think I've got one that takes the cake. Or maybe the space algae. Anyway, I signed up for one of those intergalactic home-sharing programs. You know, the ones where you can host beings from other planets. Thought it would be a cool way to make some extra credits, learn about new cultures, that sort of thing. Boy, was I wrong. Or maybe I was right, but in the most bizarre way possible. By the rings of Saturn, I need a vacation after this. It all started when these three showed up at my door. First, there was this Grobnar, all 7 feet of him with 4 arms and skin like polished granite. Calls himself Grunk. Said it's a common name on his planet. Go figure. He also had this habit of clapping all 4 hands when he was excited, which, let me tell you, sounds like a rock slide in a tin can factory. Then there's this, shimmering kinda see-through being called a Zistul. She, or it, doesn't talk much, but communicates through these, like, musical tweets and whistles, always in 3-part harmony. Kinda catchy, but it gets old fast. Also, she's telepathic, which is as creepy as it sounds. And finally, there's this little furball that I swear is a cross between a tribble and a dust bunny. They call it a fuzzball. Cute, right? Wrong. This thing is a menace. So Gronk, the Grobnar, turns out to be a neat freak. Like, seriously obsessed with cleaning. Which, you know, sounds great. Until you realize that his idea of cleaning involves using some kind of industrial-strength solvent that smells like rocket fuel and can probably dissolve steel. By the rings of Saturn is my new go-to phrase, and he's got this thing for rearranging furniture. I swear he's trying to turn my apartment into some kind of alien gymnasium. I'd find him in the bathroom at all hours, scrubbing the tiles, the toilet, even the ceiling. He even tried to use my rubber chicken as some kind of 4-arm scrubbing device. I tried to explain that it was for, well, comedic purposes, but I'm not sure he got the message. I think he thought my couch was some kind of multi-limbed exercise equipment. I came home one day to find it on the ceiling. On the ceiling, I'm not even mad, just impressed and slightly terrified. This is going to need a lot of space bleach, I thought to myself. And then there's Zettel. Like I said, she communicates through these weird tweets and whistles, always in a 3-part harmony. And she's telepathic, which means she knows what you're thinking all the time.
He thinks my whistles sound like dying space birds. He hides a rubber duck.
Yeah, it's mortifying. I tried to keep my mind blank around her, but that just made me look like an idiot. I just stand there staring at the wall, trying to think of absolutely nothing. Which, by the way, is really hard. You try it sometime. It's impossible. I even tried thinking in different Earth languages, but she picked up on those too. Started whistling in Spanish, which was just disconcerting. But the real problem, the one that nearly drove me to a nervous breakdown, was the fuzzball. This little guy, he doesn't eat food. He eats energy, like electricity, and he's always hungry. I'm pretty sure he sees my apartment as an all-you-can-eat buffet. My lights kept dimming, my computer crashed more often than a rookie pilot, and my replicator started spitting out half-cooked meals that looked like they'd lost a fight with a black hole. At one point, the little furball drained the power from my entire block. My neighbors were not happy. Mrs. Higgins next door, she was in the middle of her virtual reality yoga class when her holographic instructor disappeared. Let's just say she wasn't in a very zen mood after that.
Bob, my chakras are misaligned.
I swear, that furball is a tiny furry agent of chaos. I'm starting to think he's the reason our sector's been having those weird power fluctuations. Remember that news story, Felix? So, yeah, things were getting a little out of hand. But the real kicker, the moment when I thought I'd lost my mind completely, was the party. I figured, hey, maybe I should try to be a good host. Show these guys a good time, you know. I even bought extra space bleach, just in case. By the rings of Saturn! I should have known better. Worst idea ever. Grunk, in his infinite wisdom, decided to reorganize my furniture again. My couch ended up on the ceiling. Again. I'm starting to think he has something against that couch. Zittel thought it would be fun to share everyone's secrets. Turns out Mr. Johnson, the guy across the hall, has a secret stash of romance novels and a deep-seated fear of sentient vegetables, which I guess makes his dreams even more confusing.
He dreams of Venus, flytrap with alluring eyes. He fears the carrots.
And the fuzzball? Well, let's just say he discovered the joys of static electricity and my antique lamp collection. The party ended with a visit from the fire department, a very confused Mr. Johnson, and a fuzzball that was so overcharged it could have lit up a small city. But wait, there's more. After the party, things just kept getting weirder. Gronk decided to do laundry, but apparently on his planet, they don't use washing machines. They use, well, let's just say it involved a lot of water, forearms, and my best towels. I found him in the bathtub, trying to use my shower head as some kind of four-armed water squirting device. Zittel tried to help me find a date by reading the minds of potential partners. Let's just say it's hard to get a second date when the first one ends with the girl running away screaming because she found out you still sleep with a teddy bear. I mean, who doesn't? It's vintage.
He calls it Mr. Snuggles and believes it protects him from the scary closet.
And the fuzzball? Well, he had an unfortunate encounter with my replicator. Let's just say it involved a lot of synthetic protein, a minor explosion, and a temporary ban on using the replicator for anything other than water. I'm pretty sure he was trying to replicate himself. Imagine that. A whole army of energy-draining furballs. But the grand finale, the absolute peak of this whole insane experience, was what I now call the incident. It involved a toilet plunger, which apparently Gronk mistook for some kind of interdimensional communication device. I walked in on him holding it to his forehead, chanting in Grobnarian, while Ziztil was providing backup vocals with her whistle song. Next thing I know, there's a swirling vortex in my living room, and this giant, angry-looking space squid comes through. I have no idea how we got rid of it. I think Ziztil reasoned with it, or maybe she just gave it a headache with her mind reading. I might have thrown my rubber chicken at it in a moment of pure panic. But eventually, it went back through the portal, which thankfully closed before anything else could come through. My cat, Mr. Fluffers, though he wasn't so lucky, I haven't seen him since. Though I did find a tentacle print on the ceiling. Small mercies, right? So, yeah, that was my summer. The most exhausting, confusing, and strangely enlightening experience of my life. I learned a lot about intergalactic cultures, a bit about sentient vegetables, and even more about the importance of a good therapist, and a good plumber, and maybe a really strong lock on the door, and a sedative. They're gone now, thank goodness. Gronk left my apartment cleaner than it's ever been. But he also took all my towels and my rubber chicken. I think he's using it as a back scratcher now. Ziztil left me a note apologizing for the, oversharing. It was written in perfect flowing script, Which is weird because she doesn't have hands, and the fuzzball just kind of vanished. I think he's still out there, though. Sometimes at night, I can hear this faint sound and all the lights flicker. And I keep finding these weird glowing fur balls around the house. And sometimes, late at night, I hear a faint meow that seems to be coming from inside the refrigerator. Mr. Fluffers, is that you? So, if you're thinking about hosting some intergalactic guests, maybe think twice. Or at least invest in a good insurance policy. And a hazmat suit. And maybe don't let them near the toilet plunger. This is Bob, signing off and hoping my cat comes back from wherever he is. Seriously, if anyone's seen a slightly singed, possibly interdimensional cat, please let me know. By the rings of Saturn, I need a drink. And make it a double.
Wow, that is quite a story, Bob. You know, after hearing that, I think I'll stick to just reading about aliens. I'm not sure I could handle that level of chaos in my own home, although I bet Zephyr would love it. Anyway, if you listeners have any equally bizarre roommate stories or interspecies encounters, share them with us. You might get featured in a future episode. And if you happen to have any tips on how to get a cat out of another dimension, please, for the love of all that's holy, let us know.